Dear students, hope you're all fine. The course which we are going to study is Healing the Child Within. To begin with, do you have any idea about child? Child is a baby which is belong to an age 0 to 2. And that period we used to call it as a childhood period. Now, you may think about healing the child within. What do you mean by healing the child within? In every human beings, you can see, you can feel, and you can trace also the child within. So every individual, it may be an adult, or it may be an adulthood, or it may be among the old age people, whoever, in every individual you can see the child within. Now, what do you mean by child? Child is very playful, innocent, and the child expresses what it feels. The child doesn't know to hide, to manipulate, to respond differently. The child is very spontaneous. Now, what do you mean by healing? In every individual, they experience the feel the child within, but in some individuals, during the childhood period, they might have experienced some miserable things, and these miserable things makes them to get wounded. So in order to get out of the woundedness, or in order to get healed or cured, they have to go to their childhood period, and there they have to work out. So this course focuses on how do the healing process takes place. Now, to begin with, let us understand what you mean by self. Yes, self is an individual thing, or it can call it as an ego. Here you have two types of self. One is the true self and another one is the false self. Now, true self, it is based on your own self. It is very authentic, and it has experience oriented and the feeling of being truly present and alive. So in the true self is, there's nothing to hide. The true self will be very, very transparent. The true self doesn't know to wear the mask. Now, what do you mean by false self? False self is other based. What do you mean by other based? It tries to convince, it tries to get the name and fame, it tries to act according to the people where their original behavior will not be revealed. It is a defensive, passive, it's a learned behaviors and control rather than being spontaneous and genuine. But this is not the case in the true self. The true self is very spontaneous, genuine, and very transparent. But in the false self, it is highly covered or hidden, or it is highly other oriented. The child does anything and everything in order to satisfy the other person, and that kind of self is called as a false self. But that is not the case in the true self. The child lives, the individual lives for their own self and not for satisfying the others. Now, what is a child within? The part of each of us which is ultimately alive, very energetic, creative, and fulfilled. So, in every individual, you can see the liveliness, the energy in them, and how creative they are and how they are fulfilled. So, it is known as real self, or it is otherwise also called as the true self, who we truly are. Take for example, the individuals who is behaving and responding to a situation, to all the people in the same way, then that is called as the real self. But false self doesn't happen in that way. False self acts differently to different kinds of people in different situations. They are not one and the same all the time. And here in the real self, with our parents' unknowing help and society's assistance, most of us are denied our inner child. Now, take for example, an old man is the age of 80 years, wants to dance in the public. Is it possible to dance in the public? No, not at all. Or an adolescent or an adult wants to dance or want to play on the roadsides or want to do something what they are preferring and what they are interested. No, they cannot. So they try to stop or they try to prevent doing all those things. Then what happens? The inner child is getting affected, and this you are keep on upholding or you keep on keeping within yourself, and that creates a wound within yourself, and the individuals has to go and introspect and have tried to come out of that, and that is called child within. Now moving to the characteristics of true self. The true self will be very caring and very lovable, very creative. The child will have a free will, that is, no one is going to dictate or command and demand the child. Highly spiritual, then discernment, spontaneity, and reasoning. These would be the characteristics of the true self. Hope I am clear to you. Thank you.